Aloha, Scott the Astro Manager here, and today we're going to continue on in our email management, better email session on how to have fewer emails to process. And I was reading a while ago, there was a survey of 2,300 Intel employees, and on average, they said that about 1/3 of the emails they received were unnecessary. So think about that. Look at your own emails. How many emails have you received in your inbox right now that you really didn't need to get? And then also think about how many emails have you sent that maybe you didn't need to send. The recipients really, not every recipient needed to receive. The recipients didn't need to receive that email. So just think about that, right, as to what email is useful for you to send and receive. I mean, there are different ways of processing useless received emails, and we'll get to that in the next session. So with that in mind, the best way to have fewer emails to manage is to send fewer emails. The first trick for sending fewer emails: use the telephone. Remember that thing we used to use? If you can't use a telephone, you walk down, you visit someone's office, or these days maybe you make a Zoom call, right? But that's a little bit facetious, but there's truth to this, right? You can meet with somebody, have your discussion, get your question answered, solve your problem in real time with no back and forth emails and delays and perhaps multiple. What did you mean here? You can solve something quickly. So certainly that is a good technique. If you're mad or annoyed, don't send the email, as we discussed before, but that's likely to develop a chain of responses, and that's more emails you have to process. So another good reason not to send that email. If you have something critical to say, do it in person or phone if you have to. Follow up with an email if you need to later on, right? But it's a much better interaction if you do it in person, but also it stops a chain of emails from coming in, having more for you to manage in your inbox. If you're sending more than one screen full of text, more or less, then maybe that's better for a phone call instead, because there's a lot of background you're trying to explain, or a lot of information, and that just might be better conveyed in a phone call or an interaction if you can walk to somebody's office or Zoom call, however you want to do it. And you also want to look at, do you have a large list of recipients or CCs? Or do you have a large chain of, this email has gone on for quite a while, and people have been sending it back and forth, responding to it? It's probably time to call a meeting, right? So those are signs that maybe email isn't the best choice. You can also look at that sometimes and realize that we don't need all these people on this email. Maybe you don't want to call a meeting, or you can't, so you keep an email. But you can look at that to and CC list sometimes and see if you can prune it. And sometimes you have to add some people as well. But look at that. And you want to do that judiciously, because you don't want to change the flow of things, and you certainly don't want to surprise people when you remove or add people. So when I do so, I usually add maybe like square brackets at the top of the email saying, removing Sam, adding Doris, as she's the one who's involved in this project, whatever the reason. Just a one line. Even if you just said removing Sam and adding Doris, that's good. And if you can give a one short line reason why, even better. So look at that, the number of replies, and then the number of recipients and CCs, and seeing, is email really the best choice for this? And maybe I can do something else. Another tip for sending fewer emails, which means also hopefully getting fewer emails, is use the reply all as little as possible. Does this email need to go to all these people? If not, don't use reply all. And here's again where it's a good opportunity to use BCC. If you're sending to a large group of people, either through a list or something, or maybe just a large group of recipients, so there's an FYI, and you don't need them to respond to everybody, then you include them in the BCC. And so that way you're helping people who haven't taken this class, who don't know to check, am I doing reply or reply all? You're helping them, wherever they do, it'll just go to you and won't go to the whole group. So that's really it. If you want to have fewer emails to process, one of the best ways to do that is to send fewer emails. So think about these things, and I hope you found this useful. And thank you, and I hope you see me later. Bye-bye.